want to take a look at some highlights from the Citi Business Festival.
Small company with a large data need versus a large company with not such a large data need. So you can have a church which has 5,000 members and they don't even have proper internet connection.
Exactly.
You can have a small media house that does a lot of uploads and does a lot of content. So they may need a high-speed 5G. So which is why I'm coming and asking, when you're talking about small business from your perspective, is it about the number of people you are working with or the volume of what they need from you?
So as I said, it's both. But the starting point is a number of employees, not a number of people who use the service necessarily. Okay. So a number of employees. So in a church, you say 3 or 4 or 5 people. That's the starting point. But when we get in, we'll evaluate based on what we find. Yeah, and then we can classify it properly. Because, as you said, there could be 2 employees, but the setup is such that they don't need a number of people to work. But it's a big company. But we start off from there.
Based on the SMEs you work with, what are some of the unique challenges the COVID pandemic presented for them in particular?
Okay, so I think it's we realized working with them that it was a shock to many. They had to close their businesses. Those who were on the streets, like I was describing, one-man businesses, shops and other things, they had to close their businesses and be home. So how were they going to serve people from home? How were they going to do that? And for most of them, they were not prepared for it. It came as a shock. So what we find is that the challenge that we find, and some of them are still trying to recover, we find is that they were not prepared in terms of their data needs, their communication, how their teams will collaborate, how they were going to make payments to their customers, how they were going to even interact with their customers. Because now you couldn't speak to people face to face. You had to. There was a need to have a system to be able to use that to interact. They were not ready for that. They were used to people walking to their businesses and interacting with them. So it exposed a lot of things, and the issue now is that we aren't going to go back to the pre-COVID era. We have to adjust and move forward.
What are some of the ways in which we can help SMEs to recover and do well from a solutions perspective?
Okay, so I'll categorize them. So I'll start with the communication and collaboration needs. So initially, before the COVID time, you had your office lines. Customers could reach you in the office. Your team could have meetings regularly, and they had to work from the office. But after the COVID, we are now having flexible working time. It means I can work at different times. I can work from anywhere. Okay. So if today somebody is in the office and another person is at home, how do they collaborate? So that is when the solutions like unified communications. So unified communications, for example, allows you to carry your fixed line in a way around. So we call it mobile PABX. So you have your PABX in the office. That's usually your internal staff would interact with each other with. So you're working from home. Your wife is around, and your wife is not an employee. Okay, and you're discussing numbers, you're discussing strategies, or your brother is around, or you've gone to sit because you're not getting connectivity. You've gone to sit in a restaurant somewhere taking coffee, and you're discussing business. Okay, so those are some of the challenges that
somebody sitting opposite you,
somebody
and is videoing you,
Okay, capturing your screen and all of that. So first of all, it has to start with you as an individual. You must have that consciousness that this poses a security challenge. So what can I do about it? Okay, so you are making sure that you're always locking your screen. Those are basic things. You don't need tools for that. Make sure you lock your screen if you're leaving there. If you're going to have discussions, if you can use the earpiece, fine, and also conscious about the people around and all of that. And you also should know that it's not everywhere you can discuss everything.